as a secondary frequency, what you can do, you can remix when injecting messages, you can remix with a separate receiver. You get the station audio component from the secondary frequency, and when you inject, you remix that into the channel. So if someone is being tuned on that station, and then you start doing your own things, it's not going to happen like in our video that the channel is completely obscure. They're going to get the proper audio for that channel. It's going to be weaker, granted, but they're not going to be able to tell a difference. So you send the audio component as it is, and then you're only injecting the RDS stream. There's no one will be able to find it out. Okay. So the first attack. So standard traffic messages. We can create cues, bad weather, rain, smog, fog, fresh snow, thunderstorms. We can create full car parks, whatever. You're going with your kids to the theme park. Oh, let's go to the theme park. No, we cannot because the car park is full. Okay, so that could be useful if you have children. And we could have overcrowded service areas. We can have accidents, roadworks, and so on. They're not particularly exciting. We do not want you buy that we're able to inject these things, but just showing you trivial messages. Okay, but this is something we can do. So code 108, queue in traffic. This is message we put queue in traffic here. This is a highway, so people are likely to exit and then take a normal road or whatever, So that's an injected message. We can close roads. We can close arbitrary roads, bridges, and tunnels. Okay. So what happens if you're closing a road and your navigation is plotting a route to it? Your navigation system is going to pop up a message. Look, the road is closed. Okay. And so what happens in Europe that most people, they don't trust TMC, and not in Europe, in Germany, they pretty much everyone trusts TMC. I would say in Italy, they don't trust, messages about queues because they know there can be a small delay between the event itself, which is being, sent to your navigation system, and the real queue. So you see a queue, and you think, okay, maybe the queue is already gone, so I'm keeping on my route. But if you close roads, which is like, something very definite, the road is closed, then people are going to believe that. Okay? And so they're going to detour. But even if they're not going to do that, what happens here? So in the navigation system, you have a setting which says, warn me if there's a detour. I want to make the choice. Or you can say to the navigator, you make the decision. If by TMC you're getting a detour, then you automatically apply it. Okay? So some people, they use it in that fashion. But what happens here, even if you're not specifying automatically detour, if the satellite navigation is recalculating the route, which happens all the time. You get into a tunnel, you lose the GPS signal, your satellite navigation system recalculates the route, okay? Or you take a bad turn, recalculation. So what happens if there's a closed road on your route, the navigation system is going to silently avoid the road without even telling you, okay? So if you're driving my place, I don't want you to reach my place, and you don't know anything about roads. I just close all the roads, okay? And I just leave only one open, and then your navigation system is going to tell you, go that way, without even telling you the reason for that, okay? And this attack is also known as keep your parents from reaching home, or keep your ex-girlfriend from reaching home, or your ex-boyfriend, whatever. I mean, could be used for that. So we have closed some roads here, okay? So this is a closed road. Road for going from his place to my place. And here you can see a pop-up, okay? Road is closed, what you want to do with a detour or return. So this is the interactive one. But what happens, this is a closed road affecting my route. You get a recalculation, and then magically, the route is avoiding that closed road here. And this happened without any user interaction whatsoever, okay? So that's one thing you can do. So also, attack number 3, there are some security messages in the standard which are not really used by anyone, but there are planned, they are in the standard, and you can send them. So without anyone ever used them so far, and the interesting thing about them is like, they might freak out, like Homeland Security, whatever. I mean, you're driving with your car, you're like, you have an escort or whatever, like escorting the president, okay? And it's your satellite navigation system showing you terrorist incidents, okay? Code 1518, terrorist incident, okay, on your navigation system, okay? So that could probably scare some people or could be annoy some people, okay? Also, one other thing you can have is air raid danger. So they have a code for advertising you air raids, okay? And they're so polite that there's also a code for air raid danger air raid finished. So you can get a message, okay, the air raid, started, and then it's finished. Okay, you can safely go back on your highway. There are no bombs anymore. So, that's also, could be a problem. So this is an air raid near my city on our coast road. Okay. So also one nice thing about this thing, so, I do other things, in security. I don't play with hardware mainly. I do, lots of software things, And sometimes I go to my dad and he tells me, I found this very cool vulnerability in the Linux kernel. I can hijack whatever. And then he says, get a life. What's your job? I don't understand. And then I go to him and I show him, look, I can do this with your navigation system. And then he goes, oh, cool, you have a cool job, okay? So that's way more effective than that. So I'm only doing this kind of presentation from now on. And also, you can get an air crash, okay? So this is an airport, air crash. Airport, air crash. Airport, air crash. So that's pretty believable to me, okay? Code 978. Also, you can get bomb alerts, which is kind of scary, okay? And, this is actually a pop-up from security alert. Not every security message gives you a pop-up. Some of them do, some don't. It highly depends on the satellite navigation system you are talking. It's an implementation issue, okay? We only tested 2 of them, right? But, if you test 10 or 20 of them, you're going to see different results, okay? So let me show you a video. So navigation system, I want to go home. I set that as destination. Toll road, okay. Wait 5 seconds, we're injecting. Oh, security alert, stationary traffic. This is the hacker over there with the antenna. Okay, what I want to do? Okay, I don't trust this thing. Let's return. Okay, let me see the event list. What's going on here? Bomb alert, security alert, another bomb alert, air raid, closed road. So you can basically put World War III on the highway, okay? Could be kind of scary, don't you think so? And also, one thing you can do, okay, these are the security ones. You can get a bullfight on the highway. So I have my, I don't know about this. I have a theory about that. I imagine this is mainly a European standard. So I imagine like European community having a meeting, those important meetings, everyone representative for every country. And they're like deciding, okay, what message we should put there, And the Spanish people go, we get those, please. Can you have bullfight for us? Because they actually get those in the city. So, that's how I like to think that they work that way, okay? You can get delays due to parade. You can also place a boxing match on a highway. You can get boxing match. But if you think about it, in Italy, after an accident, having a boxing match is not so unlikely. So that could actually make sense. You can also have other sport things. I don't know, whatever you want. So, these are funny ones, but still, they're interesting. So, and, apart from that, there are some implementation issues. So people, manufacturers, they believe they're using the protocol incorrectly, but, actually they're not. So the PI is not associated to the frequency at all. So when we first tried doing these things, we were careful. Let's set the PI code, which is the program identification code, accordingly to the frequency we're trying to hijack. But the satellite navigation system completely ignores that. If you put 6666 as a PI code, it still works, even if you are, whatever. There's an event which is for total cancellation of all messages. It doesn't work. It's not being honored. But what you can still do, you can delete every single message. So if there's an event for cancellation, if I put a cancellation event on a specific location code, then if there was an event on that location code, then it gets canceled, okay? So you can sniff all the events, you can see, oh, they're sending all of this and this and this, and then you can send cancellation for all of those. So what you can do a denial of service. You can prevent anyone from getting TMC messages, okay? The standard allows a broadcast message. So what we wanted to do, we wanted to send a broadcast message, which supposedly should be able to work even if you're not plotting a route. It doesn't work. It's not being honored at all, okay? The version bit is ignored for most of the time. You set that version bit to 0. You put a Q message, the navigation system is going to ask you for the version, even if it's 0, okay? You have a boxing match, you put the version bit to 1, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't show you a pop-up, oh, look, there's a boxing match, maybe you want to avoid it. It doesn't work like that. But this is only the navigation system we tested, okay? So they're violating the standard. So we're pretty sure that other navigation systems, they have, similar or even more interesting issues. We don't know. We didn't spend time and money to buy 15 different navigation systems and test this, okay? But we expect that there are some other problems with this, okay? So, as I mentioned to you at first, there's a free service and a commercial service, okay? The commercial service uses lightweight encryption, okay? Encryption is not really encryption at all. So what they did is that they had this problem. So every TMC message is free on the air. You turn on your car and you get those messages. So vendors asked the forum from the standard, people, we want to sell that service, okay? So can we please sell it? So what they did, they put encryption on it, which is like bitwise operations, which what they do, they obfuscate the location code only. So you need to have a specific custom table for reading them, okay? And by what you can do, this is not relevant at all to our research because we can still inject, because all navigation systems, they're still, getting free messages. So if you want to inject, you can do whatever you want. And since they're only bitwise operation, you can just stay there for 2 hours, get the messages, you can compare with the decoded message on your navigation system, and you get the key and you do whatever you want. So it's not really interesting, okay? So the problem is, it can be trivially injected. Drivers don't tend to have any security awareness toward satellite navigation system, okay? If you're using a computer, now even my mom knows that there are viruses and stuff, so, might have a clue. With cars, no way. You would never expect a something like this can happen, okay? So our point is that we don't want to attack TMC. We don't think it's, bad and crappy and it's the end of the world. Oh my God, we have a problem, okay? There was a reason because they use RDS and whatever, okay? What we want to do is raise awareness for the future, okay? Because the next protocol, they're going to allow you to use your credit card on your car for downloaded services on demand, okay? What they're going to do in the future, you can have an emergency vehicle broadcasting to other vehicles. Look, I'm coming on the highway. Please move away. And that's what we'll be doing in a peer-to-peer fashion between cars. So it's very important that they start to getting these things right. And they shouldn't make the same mistakes we made 20 years ago with computers, with our services, our login, RSH, whatever, okay? And since we saw that now with this technology, we just wanted to say, look, it's not the end of the world because we don't accept people going around building those circuits and messing up the whole system, like that. But, still, for the future, just be aware. Also because you cannot patch a car easily. I mean, I have my car. I'm not going to change it because of that, okay? It's not like a software you can patch, so they have a very long life, okay? So we got an official response for TMC forum saying hacking TMC unsuccessfully because they were very scared by our research because they didn't get our point. And they say very funny things, so I'm just quoting them, okay? The first and override this statement, so they say that this contravene each country's respective broadcasting legislation and laws. So thank you for saying that this is illegal. We don't really think that's a good defense about that. We never pretend this was legal, okay? It's not that, okay, murder is illegal. Okay, then we're safe. It doesn't work like that. So then they say there is a chance that false message could be decoded, but the degree of knowledge would have to be gained on parameters of the message being coded. Of course, we can gain the entire knowledge we want because this is entirely clear text. So we know exactly what we're seeing. The random use of any location code will result in a randomly located event. We don't inject random things. We know perfectly what we're injecting. So all the response was completely pointless and not relevant at all. And the last sentence is very funny. Service providers and broadcasters, I am sure, have many protection mechanisms and processes in place. So, they trust the transport layer, which is like, bullshit. So you can read our full response here, their response here, and our reply there, okay? So the future, as I said, they're still using TMC over digital radio, no problem at all. The TPEG Transport Protocol Expert Group, which is thought to be the successor of TMC, it has the same issues, okay? The new thing we're looking forward to play with is GST, Global System of Telematics, which is the one, where you use the credit card and stuff. They're using PKI and all things, because they have credit cards. So the sad part is they don't really enroll encryption because they want security. It's just because they have credit card vendors, having standards. So, so we're going to see what will happen there, okay? In the States, there's Microsoft Direct Band, which uses a very similar system, but it's actually good because it has more bandwidth, so they're encrypted everything. It's actually pretty decent, okay? But it's a closed standard, so it's not going to be available in Europe. Well, TMC is available worldwide because it's States, Europe, Australia, whatever. Maybe we come here. I don't know. So this is kind of